So in Module 2, we're looking at what makes a hyperdoc. There are components of hyperdoc that are unique to the framework, familiar to traditional lesson plans. In this short video, I want to take a look at the difference between a hyperdoc and just a regular doc with hyperlinks. So a traditional hyperdoc has the engage, explore, explain, apply bare bones structure of the hyperdoc framework. Oftentimes, they also have the share, reflect, and extend. Remember, you really need to have the skeleton, engage, explore, explain, apply in order for something to be really considered a hyperdoc. And then many hyperdocs also have those last three. So let's go ahead and just take a quick look at what a hyperdoc is and what it isn't. So hyperdocs allow for students to collaborate, maybe through tools like Flipgrid, maybe you externally link to a Jamboard. And a doc with hyperlinks you might hyperlink the students to an article where there's very little external collaboration going on there. In Hyperdocs, something is created either within the doc or through a link embedded in the doc. Students really show what they know. And in a doc with hyperlinks, there's really no opportunity for students to create within the doc. A key piece of the hyperdoc is that students reflect on their learning. So again, remember we have that component here in the blue at the end here. And we really want to make sure that we include that reflect component when we are creating and finding, curating hyperdocs. Students are, and with a doc with hyperlinks, students are just consuming information through the sites they're linked to. Again, consuming information, being externally linked to just static articles, and really not doing a ton of critical thinking or reflection. And then finally, students connect what they have learned to other subject areas and even apply, again with that apply section, what they've learned to the real world. And again, a doc with hyperlinks is just pretty static. There's no student connection or extension in any explicit way. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at some examples here of some hyperdocs versus just docs with hyperlinks. So we'll start here with the dot. A growth mindset hyperdoc you might start with at the beginning of the year. Here's some essential questions. Slide 3 has a video. Notice this is the engage section. It's hard to see, but here it's at the bottom. Engage, explore, explain. We have all the traditional components of a hyperdoc. So this is a hyperdoc. Let's go over to the other side. Let's take a look at this Lewis and Clark example here. Oh, it looks beautiful. I'll give you that. Click through here. There's a watch, a read, watch, externally linked. It does give students the opportunity to explain their thinking. Go ahead and just scroll through here. There's a lot of watching, answering questions here. There is an apply section, but to me this is just a doc with some hyperlinks in it, some opportunity to share out learning. Students are doing very little collaboration. They do respond here at the end on the Padlet, but the traditional components of a hyperdoc are not really explicit here. So I did find this in a curated collection of hyperdocs, but I wouldn't really call this a hyperdoc because it doesn't have the traditional components. Let's go to this one, volcanoes. Again, it looks a little different. Doesn't look like anything that we've seen so far. I do see the words explore, explain, apply. Directions are over here. This is a hyper drawing. Begin with the tree on the bottom left. Select the tree and navigate with each link. Okay. So this brings me to a page that's loading. So this is where I'm doing a lot of exploring and explaining. This will bring me to a Quizlet for some practice. Then finally, I'm applying what I've learned during this process by jumping onto a Flipgrid. This is technically a hyperdoc or a hyper extension, hyper drawing. Very commonly, you'll find a lot of novel studies, a lot of really beautiful novel studies are lumped in with hyperdoc resources. There might be some really great activities in novel studies that you find online, but they are not actually hyperdocs. They lack the traditional framework, despite potentially some really great pedagogy happening, some interesting opportunities for collaboration, good instructional videos. This really just walks you through the different chapters of Bud Not Buddy and really doesn't have the engaging component. It doesn't have the explicit reflect opportunity for learners. Same thing for this Tuck Everlasting. Again, it just walks you through. Again, you may want to use this if you are, teaching one of these novels, but this is just a doc with hyperlinks. Now, finally, let's take a look at the Gold Rush resource links here. There's some fun colors. Gold Rush Westward Expansion. We have some resources. Looks like we have some great text. I used to have some of these in my classroom. Scroll down, again, some more read aloud text. Looks like we're linking out. We have some, what was the Gold Rush? Great resources linked here. But this is despite, it looks like there's an external activity that's included here. So despite the really, really neat activities, resources linked here, some extension activities, this is not a hyperdoc. It is a link with it is a doc with hyperlinks with some really neat lessons, but it does not follow the hyperdoc framework. It does not stay true to what a hyperdoc actually is. So remember, when you are looking for and creating hyperdocs, you want to make sure that we are staying true to the hyperdoc framework. Really, at the very least, engage, explore, explain, apply, and we are providing some sort of opportunity to reflect in just about all cases. I can't wait to see where we go from here. You guys are going to start looking for and creating hyperdocs in the next couple modules here, and you're going to create some really awesome lessons for your learners.